Every year, millions of animals from countless species embark on incredible journeys, epic undertakings that are true miracles of nature. These migrations are like grand theatrical productions, a majestic display of strength, endurance, and adaptation. The animals seem to be guided by a divine force. Some species undertake unbelievable migrations. One bird holds the title of world champion when it comes to migration, adding up all its journeys over a lifetime. It covers 240,000 kilometers, the equivalent of 3 round trips to the moon, or 60 laps around the Earth. But why do these animals set out on such vast expeditions? How do they know which route to take? Acrobatic whales and dolphins cross the seas. Birds and butterflies paint the skies with vibrant colors. On the plains, giant mammals like elephants, Cape buffalo, and wildebeest make the ground shake during their mass migrations. Moving forward in perfect synchrony. These animals are guided by ancient instincts, charting paths that reflect the wisdom of the planet's life cycle. Our planet is teeming with animal life in every corner, from the smallest ants to the most imposing elephants. Where you least expect it, a creature is fighting for survival. Whether in scorching deserts or frozen oceans, life always finds a way to flourish. Most animals play a vital role within their ecosystems. Certain birds act as pollinators, while apex predators such as lions and crocodiles maintain the balance among the populations of other species. In the natural world, nothing happens by chance. Every great migration serves a higher purpose. The entire ecosystem benefits from the journeys of these animals. Scientists estimate that over 10 million animal species exist, although only about 1.5 million have been classified and named. To survive the harsh challenges of the wild, animals develop extraordinary adaptations, one of which is staggering in its sheer scale, have mastered the art of long-distance travel, often journeying across thousands of kilometers. Some birds will fly without stopping for 10 days straight, covering more than 50,000 kilometers. But the world champions of migration are the Arctic terns. These birds make a round trip from pole to pole, covering truly astonishing distances. These birds are some of the stars of our current adventure. Other animals like wildebeest and zebras gather in herds nearly 2 million strong, heading for fresh pastures over a route of about 3,000 kilometers. This is one of the planet's most magnificent wildlife spectacles. In sheer numbers. This migration is second only to one in South Sudan, known as the Great Nile Migration, where roughly 6 million antelope move through the Boma and Bandingilo national parks, crossing from South Sudan into Ethiopia. This massive migration was only recently discovered, and very little footage of it exists. In the wild, some animals cross entire oceans. The most breathtaking migrations belong to dolphins and whales. All along these epic routes, they perform impressive acrobatics. Of all whales, humpbacks are the most famous migrants. Each year, they travel an average of 25,000 kilometers. These cosmopolitan giants navigate through every ocean in the world. Thousands of animals leave their usual homes in search of new horizons, looking for abundant food and cooler waters, or warmer climates and safe places to breed. However, there are also unusual reasons why animals will migrate, such as habitat loss due to deforestation or wildfires. Birds, mammals, insects, and fish all move from one place to another, seeking favorable conditions for reproduction and their environment. Animals use a variety of methods to migrate. Some let themselves be carried by ocean currents. Others prefer to swim. And some set out on long treks. Some animals choose to travel during the day and take their rest at night, while nocturnal species use the darkness to shield themselves from predators. Bats are nocturnal and well-known. Migrators, undertaking enormous migrations. One species weighs less than 30 grams. The Nethusias's pipistrelle flies nearly 2,000 kilometers from Russia to the French Alps in a single epic journey. Whether in tropical oceans, sun-scorched African plains, or frozen polar skies, the fight for survival is a daily ordeal for these animals. These incredible odysseys reveal the strength and tenacity of wildlife, which always finds a way to endure and adapt to the most hostile environments. However, not all animals survive the demands of these long journeys. In the Great Serengeti Migration, thousands of wildebeest and zebras will perish, teaching us a valuable lesson that survival comes at a cost. Among the great events in nature, one is especially captivating, with its dazzling spectacle and test of endurance. The bird migration showcases the immense power of the animal kingdom, covering unbelievable distances in their yearly migratory cycle. The extraordinary journeys of birds are a stunning display of resilience and adaptability. In these amazing creatures, as they face extreme climates and terrains across the globe, but of all the migrations, the most magical is the Great Wildebeest Migration, among the largest on the planet. This is one of nature's most ancient pilgrimages, unfolding on the vast plains of Africa. Thousands of wildebeest, joined by zebras and gazelles, cross from Tanzania's Serengeti to the famed Maasai Mara Reserve in Kenya. Their movement makes the very ground shake, and the challenges faced by millions are countless. In this epic saga of the natural world, the animals follow a direct path free from distractions. These journeys demand enormous reserves of energy, for the trek is both long and perilous. But at the end, a reward awaits them, perhaps an oasis in the desert. As seen in the great migrations to the Okavango Delta, where elephants travel thousands of kilometers in search of water. One of the most diverse ecosystems and richest in wildlife on Earth. It's home to creatures of every shape and size. The oceans. In this realm, giants and tiny beings coexist in a delicate balance. The largest animals on the planet, majestic whales and minuscule krill, are carried along by the currents. Every sea creature glides through the water with its own unique grace and purpose. In this aquatic paradise, acrobatic dolphins leap with elegance in an unparalleled natural spectacle. Combining power, agility, and grace. These marine animals perform an impressive array of aerial maneuvers that astonish all who see them. Dolphins are highly social creatures. They live in large groups known as pods. Within these pods, dolphins form powerful social bonds, cooperating on the hunt and for mutual protection. These animals often migrate in large groups to find food. Some species consume an incredible amount of food each day. Other fantastic ocean dwellers, Moussouris, also migrate. The journeys of humpback whales are the stuff of legend. Pods of humpbacks begin their migration in May, swimming some 4,000 kilometers along established routes. In the South Atlantic toward the Abrolhos Bank off of Brazil. But it isn't only the giants that migrate. Tiny creatures like butterflies and locusts also cover immense distances. One of the world's largest rainforests, the Amazon is home to massive migratory movements. Known as the lungs of the world. It has a rainy season that lasts for 9 months. Here, a much drier climate prevails. Each year, even the smallest of creatures set out on migratory journeys. The butterflies of this Amazon begin their own vast migration, crossing cities and even countries in their quest to reproduce. Their final destination lies in the southern states, though their path also takes them through Mato Grosso. They always follow the same route, guided by genetic memory. But it's not just butterflies. Many birds also undertake epic migrations. The Amazon is teeming with migratory bird species. Here we can find some of the most common and plentiful among them, like macaws and ducks. But there are also more exotic birds, considered by many to be the most beautiful in the world. Among this multitude of species we find the yellow warbler and the scarlet tanager. which is known in the United States as the scarlet tanager. The scarlet tanager is a migratory bird, native to North America, Central America, and northwestern South America. Within Brazil, it lives only in the northwestern Amazon, and can be spotted in the states of Amazonas and Rondônia, as well as Acre and Pará near Marajo Island. With their vibrant colors and energetic flight, these birds bring beauty to the Amazonian skies. And every so often they set off on their great migrations. But in the Amazon, the birds are not alone. Dolphins, turtles, fish, and many mammals also undertake long journeys. Without a doubt, Africa is home to the most famous migration spectacles on Earth. A land marked by a shifting climate, where some regions suffer from long droughts, while others overflow with food and water. This contrast compels magnificent creatures to embark on vast migrations. The Kalahari is the largest continuous stretch of sand on the planet, and in this paradise, a natural miracle unfolds. The flooding of the world's largest inland delta, the Okavango Delta. Every year, a phenomenon that is rare on a global scale occurs: a massive inundation. When the earth is parched, the waters arrive, filling it with water hope and abundant wildlife. The desert fills with water and with hope. Thousands of thirsty elephants trek across the plains. After surviving the drought, the animals finally find an abundance of water and food. Thousands of elephants arrive in the Okavango, magnificent creatures. They are not just the largest land animals, capable of weighing 6 tons and measuring 4 meters in height, but are also remarkably intelligent, experts at locating water. Their memory allows these giants to find water sources, even decades later. The elephants are led by their matriarchs, who teach their calves how to find water. From March to May, these giants are on the move, searching for sources of food. For generations, mother elephants have guided their herds to the Okavango River. An adult elephant will likely make more than 50 such trips, living between 60 and 70 years in the wild. But it's not just elephants passing through, but thousands of wildebeest and buffalo as well. The water attracts enormous herds to the grasslands. What was once a desert is now teeming with life. Thousands of birds lay claim to this space, in search of green vegetation, having traveled countless kilometers. This place is a feast for all. Lionesses with cubs look for a quiet place to rest. For now, the Cape buffalo can relax, as the lions exhausted from their journey are too tired to hunt. When the Okavango River floods, it attracts diverse animals to this land during the long, dry winter. Large mammals like elephants, hippos, giraffes, Cape buffalo, zebras, and various antelopes migrate here, but this abundance is fleeting. The animals must take advantage of this bounty of food and water, because the channels will dry up again and water levels will drop. When that happens, elephants, birds, and all the creatures of this sanctuary will have to migrate somewhere else in search of a new home. Where vast rivers once flowed, the land turns to mud and becomes partially arid once again. It is the cycle of wet and dry seasons, making this region so unique and full of life. Other species journey here during the dry season, until the rains return, flooding the desert once more. For now, only the summer showers arrive here. The Okavango will stay dry for a few more months, until the cycle begins anew with the return of the Great Flood. The drought forces enormous herds to search for water. But not all of them will survive the journey. The wilderness is unforgiving. Only the strongest will endure. The little water that remains isn't enough for everyone. It's time to move on, but to where? Only fate can say. Another African hotspot is home to epic migrations. Kenya boasts some of East Africa's most cinematic landscapes. This is the home of the Maasai Mara Savannah, one of Africa's most iconic parks covering 1,500 square kilometers. Every July, millions of wildebeest cross the plains of the Mara, joined by zebras and gazelles, migrating to the Serengeti in search of fresh pastures and returning in October. The Great Migration is one of the world's most famous animal events and one of the most breathtaking, featuring millions of herbivores. This natural wonder involves 1.3 million wildebeest, 500,000 Thompson's gazelles, and 200,000 zebras. These migrations provide food for lions, cheetahs, hyenas, and crocodiles. Throughout the Great Migrations, the animals face countless dangers. Surviving predator attacks is just one of them. They also battle river currents and pure exhaustion. These migratory cycles play a crucial role in the ecosystem. By regenerating the grasslands, it's not just the animals that benefit from this spectacle, but the plants and the planet itself. Across this very region, another animal also migrates regularly in search of better habitats. The Maasai Mara is a paradise for bird lovers, hosting an incredible variety of these magnificent creatures. North of the Maasai Mara, a magical scene unfolds. On the shores of Lake Nakuru, home to thousands of flamingos. In these shallow waters, algae and crustaceans are abundant, becoming a rich feast for these elegant birds. Flamingos are nomadic by nature. They travel in vast migrations, searching for food and suitable places to breed. Highly social, they live in massive colonies. Kenya borders the Indian Ocean, where a magnificent creature undertakes its own great migration. Sea turtles are solitary animals, spending most of their lives out in the open sea, except for the adult females who return to the beaches to lay their eggs. The turtles cover vast distances, battling against powerful currents. This is possible thanks to their sophisticated navigation and guidance systems. They can detect the strength of the Earth's magnetic field. Their brains contain magnetite, a mineral that is highly sensitive to magnetic direction, the same kind used in the needles of a compass. On their oceanic odyssey, these splendid animals cross international borders, navigating nearly every ocean on the planet. One remarkable thing about sea turtles is their ability to return with pinpoint accuracy to the beaches where they were born, even after decades spent in distant ocean waters, so far from home. However, among all the fantastic animals on our wonderful planet, none can rival birds for their migratory fame. They are not just the most well-known, but also the most resilient and adapted for these epic journeys. Their bodies, designed for gliding, conserve energy while in flight. In the spring and autumn skies across the globe host an awe-inspiring spectacle as millions of birds embark on long, and hazardous journeys between breeding areas. Most birds prefer to travel by night when the winds are calmer. Flying after dark offers another advantage, guided by the moon and the stars. The birds tend to follow established north-south routes, allowing for better rest and refueling on their long treks. And yet these migrations are fraught with danger, even with this careful planning. Birds must endure harsh climates and dehydration, along with starvation and ever-present predators. Among all avian migrations, one journey stands out for its sheer distance. Arctic terns undertake an incredible voyage from pole to pole. One bird that was monitored logged a journey of over 96,000 kilometers. Experts have crowned it the longest migration of any animal on the planet. On average, each of these birds flies 70,000 kilometers a year and lives for about 34 years. Their lifetime migrations add up to 240,000 kilometers for a single individual. That's the equivalent of 3 round trips to the moon, or flying around the globe 60 times. These migrations are an essential part of a bird's life cycle, a pattern repeated time and again throughout their existence. This ancient knowledge is passed down from one generation to the next. Half of the 10,000 known bird species are migratory. These epic journeys involve songbirds, seabirds, waterfowl, shorebirds, and even birds of prey. While the Arctic tern holds the record for the longest migration, another bird is a true champion of endurance. The bar-tailed godwit, which breeds in the Arctic, is a master of stamina. It can fly for over 12,000 kilometers without a single stop. From the Arctic to New Zealand, right across the Pacific Ocean, for 11 consecutive days. Birds are truly the masters of migration. And it isn't just because of the distance, but also because of their breathtaking speed. The great snipe covers 6,000 kilometers at speeds of 96 kilometers per hour. Flying non-stop between Europe and sub-Saharan Africa, it is the undisputed champion of flight speed. Even tiny birds like hummingbirds take on their own colossal treks. Hummingbirds are among the smallest birds in North America. Yet they fly more than 9,000 kilometers on a single round trip between the Rocky Mountains and the forests of Mexico. On these incredible journeys, birds use signals from the natural world to find their way. Using the position of the sun, the stars, and the moon. They also possess an internal magnetic compass, which helps guide them along their path. It's as if they have built-in GPS, ensuring they never get lost. These are adaptations that have been perfected over millions of years, allowing them to navigate across completely unfamiliar lands. Whether it's instinct or a learned behavior, birds always find their way back home. They navigate through every obstacle, from predators to harsh weather. And changes in their environment signal that it's time to take flight in search of new habitats. Internal, biological clocks sense the perfect moment to depart and to return. These amazing adaptations show us that nature always finds a way for animals to thrive against tremendous odds. And yet not every bird adapts to change. It's part of the natural cycle of avian life, which, like all animal life, is filled with uncertainty. What is certain is that each year millions of birds, aquatic animals, land mammals, and insects repeat the timeless cycle of migration, always in search of better conditions. These migrations are more than just a wonder of nature. They are how these animals fight for their very survival.